Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. We are Hannah and Lindsay, your friendly Edmonton recruiters, here again to provide you with episode 5 on our series. And this time we're talking about becoming a leader in the Edmonton market. I'm going to speak from more of that technology side. I am a recruiter who works specifically on technology-related placements. And then Lindsay is going to be able to speak to growing into leadership from more of a finance and accounting perspective. So we're really excited about this one. We've had some incredible feedback from different leaders around the city. We've gathered a lot of different information on what it looks like to grow your career in IT and in finance and accounting. And so we're really excited to be able to put these into this video as kind of an intro to some of the key kind of common traits. And then we're going to break it down in future videos into different career paths. So we're really, really excited to do all of that for you guys over the next few weeks. So to start things off, technology leadership, there's really a kind of a typical career path, and this is generalized. We'll go into specifics later, as I said. But normally when you start, you'll be entry-level technology, then senior, then you'll be a team lead if you're wanting to grow into more leadership, followed by a manager, followed by some kind of VP or vice president of technology or a section, maybe security or infrastructure. And then from there, it grows into that CTO, CIO level. So that's the typical career path that we're kind of talking about when we talk about growing in leadership in a technology arena. And then for Lindsay, in more finance and accounting, tell me about that.
Yeah, so basically you're going to start off as kind of an entry level, really 2 paths you're going to take. So you're going to be kind of an entry level articling student if you're going public practice, or kind of entry level accounting assistant, junior accountant. From there, you're going to go into that kind of senior accountant role, intermediate accountant. And then from there, you're going to go into kind of manager, senior manager, controller, and then CFO, director of finance, and then eventually, hopefully, CEO, president. However, kind of most recently, to get to that kind of career path, you're probably going to need a designation. That's just kind of one huge thing that we're hearing from our clients, if that's kind of the trajectory you're wanting to go on, but we'll touch a little bit more on that kind of later in the video.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of key traits that we want to talk about today. So these are things that can apply, they apply before you are a leader, okay guys? They apply to things, if you want to grow into leadership, if you think of yourself as someone who wants to follow one of these career trajectories that we chatted about, you can start doing these things right now. So that's why we absolutely love these factors. So the first one is flexibility. We heard this again and again from our clients. Flexibility is absolutely key, especially in the market right now. It is vitally important that you show that you are able to adapt to new scenarios, you're able to think on your feet, you're willing to take on different responsibilities that maybe fall a little bit outside of your job description, in order to start to grow your understanding of technology or grow your grow what you're capable of doing in your career at the very beginning. So flexibility is key, especially in technology. What about for you?
Yeah, so flexibility in terms of kind of accounting and finance is more so going to be that administrative part as well. You know, there is a lot of transactional work and administration work as well. That's something that we kind of hear from our clients, especially now more than ever, kind of being where they are, is a huge flexibility piece, wearing a ton of hats, as they like to kind of call it. I'm sure that that's what you're hearing from your clients as well. Mm-hmm. So that's something that they're definitely hearing.
Yeah, and in IT, wearing hats looks like becoming more of a generalist. So you've maybe taken on a little bit more network administration role, or it's more systems administration, or you're learning about the clouds. You know, being able to be a little bit more varied in your tasks is what it looks like for tech, for sure. Mm-hmm. The next one is taking ownership. So you do not need to own a company to take ownership. Ownership really means taking ownership of your responsibilities, making sure that you are following through on your commitments. You're meeting deadlines, you are owning up to the fact that maybe you haven't met a deadline, and really being willing to have it rest on your shoulders and live up to the responsibilities that you have in place. Obviously, this looks different in every person's position, but a great example is taking ownership of that going above and beyond. So maybe if you're client facing in technology, really taking ownership of that relationship and ensuring that you've built that connection with your client, to the point where that client feels comfortable and happy working with you on an ongoing basis. So you're really taking ownership of that relationship. That's just one example on the tech side.
Absolutely. And kind of taking ownership, on the accounting side, I myself was an accountant before I actually became a recruiter, and kind of getting thrown into my first really senior level role. I'm sure a lot of accountants hear this, you kind of get thrown in the role with little to no training in some instances. And that was kind of the case for me. And unfortunately I did, kind of make a screw up within kind of my first, month and two of just not really doing the best I could. But the big thing you can do, again, like Hannah said, is just take ownership, take responsibility for that mistake, and then learn from that mistake and learn, hey, what did I do wrong? How can I fix it? And actually just take that detailed note, and just really do everything you can before, trying again, and maybe even getting them to check your work before you submit it on that particular part is definitely huge.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is making suggestions. So as someone who wants to grow into a leadership position in technology, your role is going to become more and more strategically oriented. So you need to start thinking that way as early as possible. Not that every suggestion you make is going to be the right suggestion, not that it's always going to be listened to by the leadership, depending on where you're working, but really starting to think strategically about the position, making recommendations, making suggestions for the ways that you think a process could be improved or a new technology could be implemented in order to better do the work that currently needs to be done. Especially with the way automation is coming into play right now in every field, but especially with IT, obviously, automation is huge. Maybe there's a PowerShell script that you can write that you want to recommend that might be the easiest way to get the job done, where it's been done very manually before. So making those recommendations, thinking strategically about the ways that your team and yourself can improve a process. It definitely goes a long way.
Absolutely. And kind of the next point would just be, being able to ask questions when you are unsure of a certain topic or thing that you're kind of tackling with experience. But one thing that I definitely continue to hear from my clients is they don't want to see you just kind of show up and be like, hey, how do I do this? They want you to come with kind of almost like a case study of being, I've tried this way, this is what I did, this was my process, and I'm still not getting to the end goal. So can you help me figure out where exactly I'm going wrong in terms of that process? I think that will also just show a lot more kind of just responsibility of, okay, I actually did try this and it hasn't gone to where I wanted to go, and I followed my notes, but I'm not getting to where I need to be. So I need to kind of recognize that and be prideful enough to go to my superior and ask for some help. I think that's one of the hugest things. And a lot of clients I hear in terms of feedback as well, just say, I just wish they would have came and asked for help if they didn't understand something. So I think recognizing that aspect of it is huge, especially kind of in the leadership area as well.
Yeah, and just to briefly add to that, I think it's really, really critical, more so when you're working remotely as well, because your manager is not sitting right next to you or looking at you as they walk to the water cooler, noticing that you're working really hard to try and figure this out, right? So you do need to make sure that you're painting that picture of the work that you did, just to ensure that they're recognizing that, because it's hard for someone to know, and it is helpful for you to say, listen, this is what I've tried. Like, I'm really at my wit's end with this. Help me now. Like, help me, please, right? Compared to them just assuming that you didn't even try anything because you didn't explain that. So just to add with the current remote work scenario.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's going to go a long way if you're not doing that now. I highly, highly suggest you'll do that. And honestly, you'll see it from your employer, just the, okay, like, great that you actually tried, and great that you tried the method that we tried. Let's see where we're going wrong. There's just going to be that, I think the trust between you and your superior will actually go kind of above and beyond kind of you showing the initiative there, for sure.
Yeah.
And kind of, in addition to that, so next kind of point in terms of a leadership would be demonstrating eagerness in terms of wanting to learn more outside of your scope. So a lot of things that I hear from, leaders, how they kind of got into their position or how they got more responsibilities is they went and asked, and they, went to their superior and said, hey, I'm actually done my work for the day. Is there anything that I can help on? Is there any other teams that need help? And just showing that, I mean, again, you're going to become a reliable person on that team, and you're almost, going to be very valuable in that sense, because you're going to have a lot more responsibility and a lot more knowledge by doing that. So I definitely suggest always just asking for more responsibility. Obviously, if you have the ability to take it on, I would never ask someone to take more if they can handle it.
Yeah.
But if you're in a position right now where, maybe you're 3-4 years in the role and you're pretty comfortable doing everything and you have the understanding knowledge, ask for more. Who knows, that may be kind of tips for, a promotion down the line, because, oh yeah, they actually asked for more. They're ready for more responsibility. I have a position coming up. They've been really eager. Let's throw them in that role.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the last one is staying relevant on the technology side of things. And I think this kind of applies to both technology and accounting and finance, is keeping yourself relatively technical. As you grow into a leadership position, depending on the organization, you're going to end up with lots of responsibilities that are more strategic and more managing people rather than the hands-on technical piece. And when you're in an industry like technology, it is absolutely critical that you're staying on top of the new developments, the new technologies that are being implemented in your industry, let alone in your company, but in your industry. Really understanding the new developments, the new research, the new software platforms that are being utilized. It's such a quickly growing field that very quickly you can become unable to speak to the more technical elements of your team's jobs. And that can be a really challenging position to be in. In the case that someone were to leave, you might need to jump back into that hands-on technical position yourself temporarily while you're waiting for either a temporary staff member or a new permanent team member to join. So it's really, really helpful for you to stay technical, keep yourself in the know about what's going on. You don't want to be not in touch with the more day-to-day tasks that your team are doing. So that's really important as you grow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something to add on top of that. A way you can do that is networking. I mean, having, relevant people within that field and just talking about, hey, like, what are you guys doing in your business? Like, what are kind of the new trends or business plans you guys are going to? And just having that open conversation with people in the same field and kind of the same industry is really going to help you guys. And what I obviously like is keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So having relationships with your competitors is also great. Example, I had kind of a construction company, and his really good close family friend is their competitor, but they're always, as their competitor, they are also kind of having that talk of like where they're going. Obviously can be touch and go and, confidentially wise, but there is open conversations you can have with your competitors just to see what's going on and bounce ideas off each other. I think it's huge, and I think it's definitely something that you guys should start doing if you're not doing. Get into those networking groups and kind of going from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Keep your enemies closer. They're just there to challenge you, right? So you're just going to get better from having these conversations. It's absolutely a great suggestion, Lindsay. I love that.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So again, this was just our summary. This is our kind of key traits that we've chatted about here. Some kind of standard things across the board. We will be going into more depth with specific career paths. So this is kind of our general intro. We're going to go through probably about 3 different streams in each kind of technology and finance and accounting that are kind of typical, and talk a little bit more separately about those as we come down the upcoming weeks. But in order for you to stay on top of that, I wanted to let you guys know we did launch a YouTube video platform. We have a channel, and we're very excited. We're just starting to put everything up on there right now. So I'm going to be uploading videos 1 through 4. I think 4 is already up there. And then of course this will also be available. So if you have any questions you want to be addressed as we continue to grow this on a week-to-week basis, let us know. We absolutely want this to be valuable for all of you, whether you are a candidate, you are new to the IT industry, you're new to Canada, you want to know more about how to grow in your career, or you're looking for staff yourself. We really want this to be valuable to everyone. And the best way for that is if we get to have those conversations with you about what you want to see. So definitely let us know, like, comment, reshare, follow our YouTube channel. And we are really excited to see how we can continue to serve you guys in the Edmonton career market. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and take care.
Bye, guys.